Man, making videos is hard. You make mistakes so many times. Anyways, cheers. It's coffee. It's not alcohol. Let's begin. So initially I thought about making 5 tips for the game devs, but eventually I realized that in order to give tips for someone, you have to be somehow successful. And in my experience, I haven't actually been successful at all. I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of failed projects, and hopefully in the future we'll make something successful. Who knows? But the thing is, by taking advice or mistakes to avoid from a person like me that has done those, it's easier for you to go in the right way in the successful path by avoiding to make the mistakes. So I prepare five mistakes to avoid. This is not only on game dev, it's also now any kind of creation industry. When I say like you can be making a website, making a wooden statue, who knows, whatever, like wherever you're creating, this is tips that will avoid like mistakes that you can avoid. So I will start with the scope size. One of the mistakes that I made in my last project was that I thought I didn't put the scope size at all. I just thought that, hey, this will take 1 month to develop. I'll release it and go back to whatever I was doing without making all these things. And because of that, of course, it was more than that. You always have to multiply your prediction of what you think something will take. It can be even in software industries also. Whenever you think one thing it's going to take X time, usually it's going to take more than that. Something that you didn't plan for will emerge, or something that you think that will be okay actually is not, or if something that I think that it's easy to do, it actually turns out it's hard to do. So you have to make time for those and go back. My tips, it's always under promise and over deliver. So it's always good because that way you can fail, right? But after seeing other tech industries, even Elon Musk, like he promises a lot, but he keeps the word. So he promised more, delivers maybe half of that, but because he promised so much, even though he didn't reach the goal, it's still there. So when I say scope, plan your scope, we are not like Elon Musk. We'll give up easily. So plan it really small. Like start with small steps. Instead of making an RPG, making a Facebook website, start with something small. Make I don't know, Candy Crush, or no, even Candy Crush is complex. Like Flappy Bird is something that takes time. Just as a start, like make it as simple as you can. And if you cannot make it in 1 week, like a demo or something, is too big. The second thing that I have in mind, it's meaningful. Like the project, we usually do projects not meaningful, something that you usually won't make money for that. I'm speaking in terms of software development. We usually make side projects that we have at home in some folder, hidden, or game hidden somewhere, like a cool project that we thought will be okay to do, and we actually nobody likes it, or it's more like a conquest for us to do. So when I say that, it's if you're going to do something, value your time, do it correctly, make it worth it to do what you're actually doing. Like don't try to do another Facebook, because there's already there. So you're going to make something that is not even going to compare with that. It's going to be less valuable, and people not going to go to that. They're not going to spend money and eventually make worth your time that you lost. Even though it's a cool project, I myself, I'm quite curious to know how to build it from scratch, but we have to think like value your time. It's going to take a lot of time, and probably it's going to die somewhere in a Git or in a folder in Dropbox, wherever, just sitting there because nobody picked it up and doesn't add value to to society. It's more value for you. So imagine that you want to create a website, try to do something different or something useful, something that you think that people want, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like if there's Facebook already, don't do Facebook, do something else, something that's not in the market already, because that's going to probably have a higher chance to bring you money, to make you sell, make your time worth, even if it's not making money, making other people happy with your what you did. And in terms of game, it's the same. Like if you're going to make a game, make sure that it's something that people want. Don't make a so specific category that it's only enjoyable by 10 people in the whole world. Like don't waste time on that. And also, like if you're planning to do something or a game, plan it in such way that even if it's a side project, something cool for you, do it so you can release it and eventually make some money, or get some feedback from other people that actually like that. So make it worth your time, either with money or with reaction and ego boosting from other people. The third thing, it's I think I already mentioned in the other tips, it's or mistakes, it's not to make an MVP. And for those that don't know, it's make your project like the minimum viable project you can make from your ideas. So instead of making all these details that makes an app cool, look at the core of it. Like, does it the core of it, does it actually good for it? And that's what it's this for. Like if you can make it in 1 week your game, it can be cubes, it can be simple shape, doesn't need to be a figure. Like we understand, like, okay, that's the concept, there's the character, that's where he's going to shoot, move, you can do that, etc. Or a website, for example, instead of having all these flashy in really cool effects, just static, really popping up, and that's it. Like the less work you can do, the better. And also, like, not all the feature, like the core feature, what's the thing that your game project, whatever you're working on, cannot be cut off. Like that's the thing, and try to do that in 1 week or 2 weeks depending of your project. But usually if you're just one person, like if you can do it in 1 week, it's something that can be achievable in short time related. I'm speaking for myself. Like I've seen that if it takes more than 1 week, it's probably a huge project that it's going to take more than you usually think. It's just a time frame that I have. You can create yours, but usually if you're taking more than what you think, then multiply that by 100 when you add all those features that are not in the MVP. So always build something, even can be like a paper. Do it in 10 minutes, 1 hour. You cut the paper, you put all together, and you can show it to your friends and see, hey, that's actually something that people want, something that I can spend my time in. And who knows, maybe later can bring me some value, some money, some knowledge, some people that I wasn't able to be in contact with can enter you through that project. But it has to be meaningful, has to be something that you can say, hey, I didn't waste that time, it's not forgotten, it's still there being used. That's what I think it's value. It might not be for you. You might think, hey, for me, just having people liking the project is something already that brings me happiness. Well, if that's value for you, then do it. And the fourth mistake, it's I actually have a cool story with that. It's not making a copy, or not having a plan B, let's say. And most of the project now I don't make that mistakes anymore, but it's worth mentioning because I still sometimes forget and put in cause a lot of projects that I'm working on. And the thing is to have a backup, like copy the projects, copy the game, copy everything. Like imagine the worst happens, you still in condition to continue the project or not. Imagine your computer breaks. Imagine that your hard drive breaks and it's not recoverable. Like, you have to think about all these things, and also have to think like, hey, if this game doesn't work out, what I can do after. And I see a lot of, I'm putting this because I see a lot of people that don't have a plan B. They're just really optimistic about the things that they're going to do. I made this mistake too, so I wish like I've seen this video before I started a lot of projects that I have. But the thing is, make a copy, make a plan B, make sure that you're prepared for the worst, because it might not happen, but if it happened, you're already prepared, and you also are in conditions to avoid stuff, and don't make the mistakes really bad. It's like in a controllable situation. And the last one, it's giving up. That's not too related to me, because I always try to go with the project. If I give up, it's like I have a really good reason for it. It's not just like, oh, it's too hard. It's like, hey, this is not worth my time. I'm just losing time. It's better to put a step back and then choose another stuff and go forward. And it's like even with the MVP really brings this up, which you try to make something and you realize that, hey, this is not worth it my time. I already lost 1 week. This is not good. It's not worth for me to lose another 6 months or 3 months of something that, if the core is not good, it's not going to make it forward. If I add special effects and other, like, if your core is not good, if it smells bad, that doesn't, adding stuff on top is still going to smell bad. So my last tip is to don't give up. Like, if you feel you're happy and you're doing something that you really like, and it's something that it will bring value, that after seeing all these mistakes that I have, and you listen and say, hey, this is actually something that will bring me money. I'm not optimistic. I have my plan B, I have my research, and now I'm being through some problems, some difficulties. Well, everything is hard. Like, doesn't matter which industry, which project you pick up. Like, if it's easy, everyone will have done it, but it's not. So instead, it's going to be something really hard, and it's going to be tough for you. You will have sometimes that you will want just to give up, even though you believed in the beginning that's going to be a good project. In the end, it turns out it's not the project you planned. So don't give up with that, because that's where the most amazing things are built, where when people don't give up. Like, even if you look at the companies, like, if the companies go through a tough time and they go well, when everything turns good, they just prosper, they explode in income, in production, etc., because they didn't give up at that time. And a lot of other companies, they just give up. I'm not saying they're all, of course there are some specifics, but a lot of what I see, people, companies, they give up too early. And I say that because I already been there and almost gave up on my last project, and I realized that, hey, if it's easy, it's not worth it. Like, if it's hard, it means that you're on the right way. It means that you still have a lot to learn, a lot to improve. Maybe you have to change something, you have to be open-minded, but that's it. Don't give up just because, hey, it's hard, I cannot do this. Like, it's hard. If it's hard, you cannot do it. Like, what else you can do to solve that problem? Because you can turn around. You can, if that feature that you're trying to implement in your game or your software that doesn't work out, or you're not able, don't have enough knowledge, just toss it away. Make it something around it that may be replaced for that. And I mean that because I already tried a lot of stuff, like cloud multiplayer and stuff like that, and it's really hard. Like, but if you cannot do that, don't do it. Just make it single player, make it simple. Like, just throw away. Don't try to be perfect. Like, a lot of projects will start really ugly. You see Facebook, Instagram, and a lot of these applications, they didn't have a great start, and they didn't bring a perfect application either. A lot had problems with cloud bugs, etc. Like they if you bring back those memories, you think that they are amateur, but in reality we are all amateur. Just the difference is that once you start making money, you will start putting more knowledgeable people that have studies, that know how to do that, so it's going to bring down. So don't give up, be persistent, and don't expect to be perfect. Make something that's not perfect. It's going to be easier. It's going to be like going back to all 5 mistakes that I avoided. So the scope is going to be smaller because you're not expecting to have all these features, so it's not perfect. It's going to be meaningful for you because you tried something, you showed your friends. It's going to be an MVP because you didn't have anything, you can test it. And as long as it's not perfect, you can also be more adjustable, you can edit. So anyway, I'm just going now out of the topic, but that's it for today. And I wanted to share that because I've seen a lot of people that they have game that they don't finish, project they don't finish, really cool games, really cool people, skilled people, not like me, and they don't have anything to show, even though they have great ideas. So don't just wait there. Pick it up. Do something bad. See you next time. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. And if you have anything that you think that I missed, that I didn't say to here, don't be don't be afraid to comment down below and share your opinion with us or your experience.